So I'm back, and today we are going to be taking a look at the XTransbots Ollie figure. And yeah, grab his box real quick. So this is his packaging that he comes in. It's a nice packaging. It's very reminiscent of the Masterpiece style. So set him off to the side. So there it is. It comes with the collector card, and it comes with the instructions. Do I have those right here? I do not. But he does come with a collector card and instructions. It's the same crap that we're used to at this point. Honestly, I mean, the packaging, I can understand some people liking because, you know, sometimes people store them in the boxes. But honestly, the collector card is just crap. There's the top of the box. There's a render of the figure. I don't think this is the actual figure. I think this is a render of the figure. Back of the box, you can see a beachcomber back there now, and a Cosmos. So maybe they're making a Masterpiece beachcomber and Cosmos. There's the bio if you want to read that. Car. Again, I think this is a render and not the actual figure. And then at the bottom we got coming this fall. Well, no, it's not. We're just about winter now. So unless it meant next fall, which that's a pretty early promo. But then again, these don't look like actual figures. These look like renders. And I think this is Wind Charger and whatever the other one was. But yeah, there you go. That's the packaging. Now the figure. So this is Ollie, or Wheelie if you will, the XTransbot version of him. He is pretty small, definitely a Masterpiece scaled figure. Kind of get you an idea. Well, we'll do scale later. Accessory wise, he comes with this little pistol. So it's already getting some paint chips on it, which is exactly what I want to see in a new figure. And he comes with the slingshot, which is actually pretty nice. Nice metallic teal color. And then the figure himself. Now, I have a lot of problems with this figure, and you know, it's funny because you know, the Huffer figure from Cubex, you know, he has a lot of similar issues, but this figure is worse, I think. So I'm going to be a little bit more critical of him, unfortunately. His head is on a let's see, we got a ball joint and a hinge. So it's a hinge at where it connects to the body, so it goes back and forth, but then the body itself has a ball joint, so it gets a little rocker in there, up, down, left, right. Not too bad. Shoulders are on ball joints at the shoulder itself, and then there's a hinge right here, so that rotates, stuff like that. Bicep swivel. He's got a bend at the elbow. Both elbows. No issues there. He's got little tiny hands that have a rotator in them, and the fingers do open and close. He's got a waist swivel that gets a little hindered in the back, but not too bad. Being honest here. He's got ball jointed hips, and then he's got super loose thighs. This is like ridiculously loose. So I think I'll have to get in there and fix that. Then he's got a thigh swivel, which, I mean, at that point, it's kind of pointless to have both. One or the other is really all that's needed. You don't need to have a swivel at the hip and then a swivel at the thigh. I mean, it's pointless to add that in there, and I think that's one of the main reasons why this thing is having some difficulties, is because it's got two swivels in the thigh. I mean, I'm just gonna grab Wheeljack here. He's got a swivel at the thigh and nothing else. He's just got the one right up here at the hip. Let's see, who else do I got right here? We got the Springer mold. Swivels at the hip, nothing at the thigh. I honestly can't think of anybody else that has both. He's got swivel right at the ball joint and nothing else. Masterpiece Bumblebee, swivels at the hip, nothing at the thigh. I mean, it's one or the other. You don't need to do both. I mean, they really just, I mean, it's nice that they're trying, but why? You know, just why? So he's got a bend at the knee, which is that's his bend at the knee, unless you pull this piece here out of the way. Breaking up the aesthetics, then he gets a good bend. But again, I mean, look at this. This is wow. Now I'm gonna stop complaining about that, because I can fix that. I shouldn't have to, but I can. He's got a little bit of an ankle rock here, side to side, and a tiny bit up and down, and then the toe does bend. So there's his posability. So he's a pretty posable little guy. I won't argue with that at all. He's very posable. I think the double swivels here is kind of pointless, or not kind of. It is completely pointless. I mean, hell, I might go in there and just glue one of them into place just to make it so that it stops moving. Definitely needs an Autobot logo there. Yeah, here's a quick 360 of the figure. So, you know, he's got some car kibble in here, which isn't too bad. I like how the backpack folds up. It folds up nice and neat. And it clips onto the chest, so it doesn't come out. I kind of wish there was a place that you can put these hinges in, but the way the backpack folds in on itself, it wouldn't be possible. But I mean, he does compress very well. He's got a very good design, but we'll go into what other problems are when we get into transformation, which we're doing right now. So one of the things, and I'll mention this right now, that you don't do when you're making a figure is every single thing on this figure is screwed together. He's got just a very few amount of pins, I mean, which is nice because it makes it easy for me to get in there and fix things. But the problem is like tires. The tires are those ones you can't see, but like these tires up here, when we pull the backpack off, these tires are screwed in. Now, the reason why you don't want to do that is because as you rotate the tire, that's going to loosen the screw. As you loosen the screw, the tire is just going to fall off. And then you're going to be in that position where you're trying to put the screw back on, and it's going to strip itself. And I believe Bobby Skullface's one, the tire stripped off, and that's why it does that. Because they should have pinned it instead of screwing it. Screws are almost as bad as those stupid little plastic hook things that he has. Yeah, I fixed him with a screw in his tire because just slightly better, and it's the best option I could. But really, they should have pinned these tires. They should not have screwed them. I think that's a horrible, horrible design error on their part to do that. And they over tighten the screws too. So if you start moving the tires, it's going to start either loosen itself or strip itself. So when you first get this figure, if you still get him after the review, first thing I say is get this screwdriver and start loosening some of those screws on the tires. It will help you a lot, and hopefully it'll keep your tires from being stripped. Anyway, let's get into transformation. So you want to pull the tires off the little hooks here. I already did it to show off those screws. And you want to pull those back. Just get that out of the way. See, here's another screw that's on a hinge. That, I mean, it shouldn't be there. It should be pinned. That should be a pin right there. I mean, it's a pin right here going through the whole body of the car. It should be pins in there. It should not be screws. Like the screws in the arms, that's fine. You know, hey, that's great. But, and hinges like this should be pins, not screws. Anyway, so you move that out of the way. And you want to come down here and pull this little panel out. It's kind of tiny. There you go. So you fold that out, and then you can take the hands and fold those in. There you go. Then close those up. Do the same thing over here. Just kind of open it up, fold the hands in, close them up. And there, we got that done. And then we want to pull this assembly out, or you want to pull this piece here and just unclip it from back here and then just fold it up. Then you can slide these assemblies out like so. They're on nice sliders. I mean, it works. Take the head and just fold that back here. And then you want to take this assembly here and fold this up. No. Getting ahead of ourselves here. Alright, so take this assembly here, fold this out. And you gotta fold the foot in while you're doing that. And then this comes over here. Take this piece here and you fold this out. And then this will eventually collapse up there like that. Take this little tiny waist piece here, and this will just, or butt flap, I guess, and you fold this up like so. Alright, now fold this out like so. And see, and you fold the foot in, and now you see, here's one of my problems with this. Another one of my problems, anyway. These little tiny little hinges and stuff like that. This is feels like a really weak plastic. So I'm very concerned about the longevity of a lot of this figure because it's so thin in some places. This part scares me. Getting this over here and tabbing this in. That scares me. This scares me. Pulling this piece out. I mean, this whole thing's on this tiny little piece of plastic right there. That again is screwed in. It should be a pin, not a screw. Alright, so we'll take this. Rotate the arms back here like so. Then you want to take this piece here and fold this out. Again, really tiny pieces of plastic. And this right here is a pin, but they pinned it too tight. So you're over here, you're kind of like putting a lot of pressure. So definitely you want to hold it right here, and when you're swiveling this piece out, you want to try and keep the pressure off of this piece, which again is screwed in. So you want to get this piece out on this side, like so, and do the same thing over here. So you move this out, and then you want to pull this piece out like so, and again being very careful not to put too much pressure on this piece right here. So you want to hold it here and swivel this out, and then you just kind of have to get it out of the way. So as you can see, there's some clearance issues going on here. I'm having to bend pieces of plastic to kind of get them into place right, and that's again something I don't like to see, especially in something that's so has such small pieces of plastic holding it together. Alright, so we take the arms and we rotate them back, so they're back here, and then we could take the slingshot here, and it just plugs into these two little holes back here and here. And we close that up, and then we just, the arms just kind of sit in here. They don't really lock in anywhere. They just kind of sit there. Some things just aren't fitting very well. Why not? There we go. These things need to come up here like this, and then they just kind of sit like that. Again, they don't lock in very well. If the plastic was a little bit sturdier, it would hold better, but it's not. Alright, and then we want to kind of take this piece, and it rotates up, and you just kind of, this is like my least favorite part of this transformation, is trying to get these legs in here right. There we go. Maybe. Come on. Joy. This figure's such a joy to transform. I can't tell you, how much fun I'm having right now. I'm definitely just in love with this transformation here. Alright, so we'll clip these together. And it's all supposed to collapse together. I think I'm doing something wrong here. Let me pause this thing for a second. Okay, so I had to look at the instructions, and of course the instructions don't help whatsoever. So I fiddled around with them a little bit more. What I was doing wrong, first off, you got to make sure these screws are facing up, like so. And then when you bend the knee, because it's got a double bend, you got to make sure that the it's as far out on that double bend as you possibly can, and keep these feet straight, which means you have to kind of like wedge it around plastic, but that's how you're supposed to do it. So once you get that in, and these knees are as far up as we can get them, then it will tab together and kind of plug into the rest of the car. And just kind of get it in there, and then you plug the hood up like so, and you just try and squeeze things together. I'm done. This is just horrendous. I mean, this thing is, I mean, just wow. Its design is, I mean, it has a decent idea on the design, but the problem is that the fact that the plastic is so freaking flimsy and weak that I'm sitting here like some of this stuff, like if it was a bigger figure with higher quality plastic, I'd probably, you know, put a lot of pressure on it, you know, and get it to where it needs to be. But this thing is not a high quality figure. This is a very low quality figure. And you cannot put a lot of pressure on certain parts, so you can't get these things together right. Things don't tab in like they should. There's no tabs for these arms. They just kind of hang out there, and the wheels do not roll. You can see he does not roll. He's just sliding, mostly because there's too much kibble underneath to give him enough clearance. That could just be mine, or other people are sugarcoating the reviews. This thing is a piece of shit. No, you know what? I thought about this. You know, Bobby Skullface did a review on this, and he says that we need to rename or redefine the word Ollie. And then it goes to a scene where he's taking a shit, and he's like, hey, no, don't come in here. I'm taking an Ollie right now. And that's hilarious. But I disagree with him. Because when you take a shit, most of the time afterwards, you feel better. You know, it's a little painful for a minute there, you know. I think that definition fits better for the MP seekers, where sometimes some things just aren't clipping in as well as you want it to. Things are coming off and you're not wanting them to. But once you get them into jet mode, you're like, I feel better now. Or once you get them into robot mode, I feel better now. That is not the case with this thing. This thing, you play with it and you get into vehicle mode and you feel dirty. I mean, this thing is absolutely the worst. I mean, I don't want to say the worst third-party figure ever, but the worst one that comes to mind. I mean, this thing is just garbage. You can plug the gun in to the top, like so. It plugs in really tight and strips the paint off the gun, so that's real nice. As you can see, again, let me zoom in on those tires so you can see that they're really not rolling. Okay, so we're zoomed in. Now it just needs to focus. Focus, there we go. And, that one tire's, you can see the back tire is rolling a little bit. Front tire is not. This side. Front tire kind of is. Back tire is doing nothing. And they are clear, so they do roll. I mean, as well as screwed in tire will roll. But yeah, that's really all there is to show about this mode. So take the gun off. Pull the arms out. Pull out the slingshot here. Alright. And pull those pieces down. Pull the legs out. Rotate the leg around like so. And, you know, get get this into position. Take this piece and then it folds back, and then this will rotate in. So back, in. This piece will come out, and you kind of have to wedge it around the foot to get it into place. Then you fold out the toe. Fold out the toe, rotate this out, rotate this in, rotate this out, rotate this in. Hate this thing. Take this piece here, and you got to bend it around here and get it up here. So fold this together. Again, you want to fold it at the door and try not to put any pressure on anything else. And then this can come back here. So again, you want to fold this up. Being extra special careful so you don't break the damn thing. Fold this back. Alright. Then you want to take the head here and flip this up. And then you flip this piece down here like so. Now get the arms up and out of the way, because when you fold this down, what you want to do is then you will put pressure on the sides of the car here and slide those into place. And as you do that, the tires will lock in around this little tab right here. Just like so. And then this piece here will flip in, clip over place, probably breaking something because it's a flimsy piece of plastic, clipping into some more flimsy pieces of plastic. Flip this piece out, and you want to try and get the hand out. Sometimes they'll give you trouble. Flip this out. Go. Now you can take the slingshot here, plug it into his hand, take the pistol here, plug this into his hand, and drop him. This thing is just garbage. I mean, I cannot stand this thing. This is by far the worst figure I've done in a while. This thing, that oversized sea spray, even though the he feels like a Fisher-Price toy, I recommend that thing more than him, because that thing, at least if you're hard on it and it breaks, at least it's a $10-15 toy. This thing is a $60-something toy that's sold out everywhere, so you have to pay aftermarket prices to get the damn thing, and that is not worth it. I did order this with the sea spray from that Chumning whatever store. I mean, you guys probably know what I'm talking about. And they shipped it real quick. I got this thing in days from China, so that was really super nice. So let's do scale comparison. So he's next to the Classic Seekers. So he's not in Classic Seeker scale at all. Here he's next to the iGear Seeker. Only one I have left. Sold the rest. And you could kind of say he fits in the scale. I would argue that he doesn't. Same with the Springer mold here. Here he is next to the MP Wheeljack. See now, and this almost works. Here he's next with the Cubics Brawn. And here he is next to the Bumblebee. Now, this is where I say he's too big. I think he should be smaller than Bumblebee, because he was always about the same size as Daniel was in the exosuit. And this is Spike in the exosuit, so this should be bigger than Daniel. And that doesn't work. They were about the same size. As far as I remember, I think he had like maybe half a head on him in the exosuit. I don't think this scale works. I don't think he's in scale with Masterpiece. I think he's too big. And I think he's utter garbage too. Honestly, I mean, since we're not really in scale, a better option would be get this figure, the GDO version. Or the Hasbro made a Legends version of him, a Legends car, so he's about that big. So you'd scale better with MP, and you'd scale better with Classics. This figure, I don't think scales very well. The plastic is utter garbage. They've got screws where there should be pins. He's tight where he should be loose, and he's loose where he should be tight. There are so many things that are wrong with this figure, and most of it is design. This figure is definitely has a Masterpiece design. I can't argue that this thing is designed like a Masterpiece figure. The problem is that they use really cheap plastic and very thin plastic, and that really detracts from what a good Masterpiece figure is. And also the size of the figure. I would forgive him for being what I consider too big for Masterpiece scale. Just a little bit. I mean, just half a head. You just take him down half a head. But the level of engineering is that of somebody like a Masterpiece car, maybe a little bit more than a Masterpiece car. And that's an issue. This Bumblebee here is an infinitely better figure because it has better plastic, it has a better design, and it's much more designed in the idea of this is a smaller figure, so we have to make it a little bit simpler. Just because it's a Masterpiece figure does not mean it has to be some marvel of engineering, and that really pisses me off when figures like this have that. The Bad Q Brawn and Outback are like that, but those guys are just a hair. This guy is way too sophisticated for his size, and because of his size you have to get really small parts, and because this is a third-party company that seems to like to use cheap plastic, he hits all the negative marks. I've got the pipes from XTransbot. The plastic quality on that is better. Engineering is simpler. It's actually almost too simple for Masterpiece, which is just, exhausting to think about, that those smaller guys too engineered and the bigger ones under engineered. But he's got issues too, but I forgive him for his issues because I can fix those issues real quick. And honestly, I'm tired of saying that. I can forgive you for your issues. This thing is just crap. This thing almost gets me to the point where I don't want to collect Transformers anymore. That's how bad this figure is. I cannot recommend this to anybody for any reason whatsoever. If you're a Wheelie fan, get him, get the Legends, get the G1. Get something legitimate. Get something from Hasbro. This thing is absolutely garbage. I cannot recommend this for any reason. I give it a 0. An absolute 0. I hate this fucking toy. I absolutely hate it. I actually went to bed last night thinking, man, I gotta review this goddamn piece of shit. And I almost changed my schedule so I can review some new Masterpiece Seekers I got in. But no. I wanted to get this out of the way, and now I'm super stressed, and I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'm gonna go get drunk or something. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm gonna go get drunk because this guy pushed me to the edge. This thing is shit. 0 out of 10. He's definitely ranking up the top of the worst figures of the year list for me. I gotta put that list together, don't I? This thing, I cannot. I'm done.